This is the Korean and Japanese version of Paradigm Trigger, the set famous for the special art Lugia, Unknown, and much more. Both language releases have some similarities, but also lots of differences. I'll be opening one booster box of each language version to compare them side by side. So we'll be starting with the Korean version of Paradigm Trigger, literally pronounced Paradigm Trigger. Literally an English name, but with the Korean accent, which is very interesting. So we'll slice the top there. Also, if you didn't know with the Korean version, there were actually two different versions of the booster box. Same shape, same size, but the top here will indicate the difference. So over here, if you had the first print run, it would actually come with a promo, and you'd see an image of that promo pack with the possible cards you can get. It was the Lugia Get Challenge, same as the one in Japanese, except the promo pack was included in the booster box. Not for this version, this is just the regular version, the later print run. So let's take out our packs. Of course, it was the same 5 promos that you could possibly get, the chases being either the Lugia V-Star or the Lugia V. And it would have the Get Challenge promo stamp on the right side. I'll put it on the screen here, but very happy to revisit this. As you can see, I have the lovely yellow borders from the Sword and Shield era Korean cards, and also the backing is going to be the international backings, the same you'd see for any non-Japanese Pokemon card. So lovely Shaman. That was actually also one of the promos from the Get Challenge. It would just have that stamp. Oh, these feel so different from the Scarlet and Violet era Korean cards. Lovely Aggron Hollow, starting off with that. Yes, no hollow borders, guys, unlike the Japanese version. I know we're used to that, especially if you collect it. Also, one other difference, there's no card trick. You don't have to put one to the front, unlike with the Japanese version. So that's another difference there. It's nice revisiting this set, though, and having another possible chance at getting more Lugias, whether in Korean or in Japanese. That special art by Kawaii was absolutely beautiful. I already have the card, but I want to have the experience of also pulling it as well. It's different when you pull it versus, you know, just simply buying it. We have Cobalion. Oh, that's funny because we just had Iron Crown in the Scarlet and Violet from Cyber Judge. This guy loves to haunt me. If you guys have seen my previous Paradigm Trigger openings, I kept pulling Regieleki, whether it was from the Get Challenge promo or a secret rare full art. This guy just kept coming up. They might as well have made a special art of Regieleki. That's how often I've pulled it. And yes, it's one of the pack mascots with Regidrago and also Lugia. It's just very, very amazing. I'd rather just pull the Regidrago special art by Hatoya. It's very cute. It's just literally just chilling. If not, definitely. Actually, I really would like to pull the Unknown special art if we're lucky. I wouldn't mind getting that either. There's a lot of Gen 2 love in this set, and it's really nice that Pokemon Japan reprinted them. They're still around in Korean, thankfully, as well. And also, if you'd like to get booster boxes of Paradigm Trigger, whether in Japanese or Korean, definitely visit my web store, KristaCollects.com. I do have boxes available, especially now. Japan just reprinted it. Very nice time for us. Especially, you know, it's really good that Pokemon waited after the crazy hype for Pokemon, because when this first came out, the Lugia special art was like $400. It was crazy. Now it's half the price, thankfully. Much easier to get, and there's more boxes and product available. So if you just want to pull it and not pay that price, you have a better chance at doing so. And also, Paradigm Trigger is in other languages too. You know, traditional Chinese, Indonesian, etc. And of course Korean, as we're opening in this video. But the main reason why I like comparing and contrasting Korean and Japanese, because you have those yellow borders. A lot of people, you know, just use this as an index from the other Asian languages. So, you know, it's fun to compare. They definitely feel so different, you know, printed in Korea, not Japan. And also too, in terms of release dates, this came out about a week and a half after, a month and a week after the Japanese version. So the Japanese version released in like late October in 2022, and the Korean version came out in like literally end of November. So right before the holidays, right before the high class set. I believe at that time it must have been V-Star Universe. So very interesting time, you know, very end of the Sword and Shield era. And look at that, guys. We pulled our first Lugia, Lugia Bui. That's how you pronounce it in Korean. Still Lugia, just with the Korean accent. And also, of course, this is illustrated by the famous Mitsuhiro Arita. Beautiful work. And also, we have to appreciate how he made Lugia's head pop out more by adding that bit of, like, you know, outline there versus the rest of Lugia's body. Like, very, very refined technique there. So I really appreciate Arita-san's artwork. Now I'd like to pull Kawaii's artwork. So much great Lugia art, you know, especially since I feel like Lugia got shafted in the Sun and Moon era. Ho got more love during that time and got a shiny in Ultra Shiny GX / Hidden Fates in English. You know, and Lugia I think just got like a Shining Legends shiny, which is cool, I guess. But so did Ho-Oh. You know, I feel like I could have gotten more, but that's just my opinion. I'm the Lugia bias. I know there's a lot of Ho-Oh fans out there. Maybe in Scarlet and Violet Ho-Oh get a little bit more love. But for sure, Ho-Oh definitely got a beautiful artwork, Ho-Oh V by Akira Ego, I believe in Incandescent Arcana. And it's also nice too, because in Silver Tempest, which has both Paradigm Trigger and Incandescent Arcana, you could pull both Lugia and Ho-Oh. And Ho-Oh had a full art too, so it wasn't completely ignored. Although I'd still like to see another shiny Lugia one day, like a full art shiny Lugia, not just shining Lugia. But yeah, lots of love for Lugia in this set, and also it's gonna be fun seeing it compared to the Japanese version. I only was able to open one box of Japanese Paradigm Trigger because again, the amount of product was so scarce during that time. Like literally, if you stuck around with Pokemon despite that time, despite product not being around, even the people of Japan couldn't get product at that time. This is a, you know, a day to celebrate because now we can actually get product to open during the late Sword and Shield era. That's really fun. Hopefully we see it too with Blue Sky Stream. I really want to open that again too. Try for the Alternate Rayquaza in Japanese. It's been easier getting it in other languages, but with Japanese it was just so scarce. Barely any boxes of Blue Sky Stream were available, so the price of those cards just stayed up there. It's really ridiculous. Alright, Hisuian Arcanine, part rock type. Super cool. Let's actually sleeve that up. I do like a lot of the Hisuian Pokemon. Comment below if you enjoyed Pokemon Legends Arceus, and if you're excited for Pokemon Legends ZA featuring Zygarde. I'm very excited for that. Kalos appreciation, and that skipped a generation, but we'll see how it is. I'm very curious to see what the storyline and also setting of that is going to be. But for now, still enjoying Scarlet and Violet, the game, and also the card releases. We're going to be, you know, seeing some interesting stellar type Pokemon soon. But in the meantime, we're going to backtrack and enjoy the late Sword and Shield era. What do you guys think to the yellow borders? Do you miss them? You know, especially if you're just getting into collecting Korean cards at the minute. I know a lot of people kind of paused on the Korean collecting, you know, ever since Korean EV Heroes kind of died down. But I'm still opening them. I still find them fun. We have Pikachu in this set as well. Harvesta, Claydol, Jungle here. Some people, surprisingly, I was shocked when we transitioned into Scarlet and Violet and the silver borders came about. A lot of people did miss the yellow borders, so I'm very surprised. You know, despite the secret rare or SR not being guaranteed, which of course, by the way, if you want to see proof of that, my other Korean Paradigm Trigger video where I only opened this version, that was one example on my YouTube channel where I did not pull a secret rare. That and Scarlet EX in Korean. So if you really wanted to see for yourself, because people like to debate with me, they say they open 15, 20, however many boxes of Korean Pokemon cards and they always get an SR. I've had my fair share across the different eras of me also not getting an SR box. You can call it an error box, but it happens to many people, not just myself. Guys, I see something back here. Is that the SR Lugia? Are we gonna be lucky? Nope, it's not. We're not lucky. Okay, at least it's not Regieleki. It's Regidrago. I actually have not pulled this yet. So there we go, guys. I'm also happy too because, like I've mentioned, the sticker is not guaranteed. I'm happy pulling any SR. So Regidrago it is. Hit the like button. Guys, it is a dragon type. I do like my dragon type Pokemon, so I will not complain. Also one of the pack mascots. Alright, so let's keep going here. Surprisingly too, Regidrago wasn't one of the Get Challenge promo Pokemon. Regieleki got that spotlight. So very interesting. Alright, Glaring Meowth, Virizion, Noivern, and Brandon. Oh my goodness. One of the Frontier brains. Very surprised. They should put more because I love the Battle Frontier from Emerald version. But let's continue. I like how Pokemon sprinkle in like random trainers that we've seen from previous generations. Not just always featuring the latest trainers from that generation. Dragonite, Magnanyeong in Korean. I love saying it. It was very difficult in the beginning learning the name. But even RM from BTS called it Magnanyeong. It was one of his favorite Pokemon. Didn't say Dragonite. I made a whole video one day. It was really funny. Magnanyeong.
You know Minyon? Yellow dinosaur is a dragon
Yellow
type.
dragon, and
Yeah.
it's Magnanyeong in Korean.
So yeah, some Korean education, Korean name education of Pokemon. Always fun to learn. And Lugia, like I mentioned earlier, Lugia. Same thing in Japanese too. Some Pokemon names just stay the same across the board, and other Pokemon names change entirely across the languages, like Snorlax. Snorlax in English, Kabigon in Japanese, Jamanbo in Korean, so very interesting. Alright, let's continue. We're almost done with the Korean version of this, so it's really nice. Again, happy at least we got a secret rare. Yes, this was also during the time. You are going to feel a little bit pinched during this time of Pokemon Sword and Shield era, especially with this type of set, because there's no art rares. We weren't spoiled. Or CHRs. I believe at this time it was more so CHRs. The art rares came about in V-Star Universe or Crown Zenith. But Incandescent Arcana, like the in-between sets, they would have the Radiant cards, the random CHRs, you know, kind of continuing that trend from VMAX Climax, but it wasn't until Scarlet and Violet where we had the consistent 3 art rare pulls per booster box. There we go, another Regidrago. So very nice to see. It's a very Regidrago heavy box. I'd rather be this than Regieleki. I don't have too many Regidrago, so it's okay. Another shot at opening Paradigm Trigger. Always a fun time. I felt a little sad back then when I could only open one. So patience is key when you're collecting Pokemon cards for the long run. If you stick around, sometimes it rewards you, like Pokemon Japan just did for a lot of us, because it knows there's a lot of Lugia fans like myself. You know, if you watch Pokemon Movie 2000, you'll know how awesome Lugia is. And I think we have a VMAX finally. I haven't seen one for a bit. We got my arch nemesis. So we have Regieleki VMAX, and then Regidrago would be a V-Star. So they kind of contrasted it there. Alright guys, did they just stuff the last 2 packs with the VMAX / V-Star cards? We'll see. Alright, yeah, I think there's something in the back. It's a V-Star. Who knows if it's either Lugia or Regidrago. I saw a little bit of a white border shine there. And it's Lugia. Very nice. I don't see those one very often. So, yes, they put it towards the end of that. So there you have it. Korean Lugia V-Star. Not the Get Challenge promo. There would be a stamp right there. But yeah, check out also the texturing. That's also how you can tell the card quality difference between the Korean and Japanese version. The texturing will be a lot thicker on the Korean version versus the Japanese version. But don't go anywhere yet, guys. We have our lovely reprinted booster box of Paradigm Trigger. Yes, I just got this from Japan, so this is definitely the reprinted version, not the first print run or anything like that. So let's crack at this open. Also, you can tell too, because back then they didn't really have these rip tabs. They introduced these in Scarlet and Violet base sets, so this is how you know it's the reprint version. Very interesting. They kept this around. Okay, let's keep going. Let's get our other 30 packs. So yes, just like the Korean version, you're going to have 30 packs per box, 5 cards per pack. It's not a special set. It's not a high class set. But the SR is guaranteed, so there's no pressure with this one. But of course, as you can see, the backs are different. Let's take a Korean card right here. And here's the Japanese card. So Japanese cards will only have this back. They are special. Also, one to the front. So one big difference from the Korean version. But yes, we have our lovely silver borders. I do prefer these. I know a lot of us do. But if you like your yellow borders because you feel the nostalgia from them, or you just prefer them in general, or you like how Mimi Korean cards can be, then, you know, you can have your preferences. But yeah, overall, that's also why Japanese cards have a higher premium price than Korean cards. But that's also why Korean cards are fun to open as a side quest if you just want to have an extra chance at pulling your chase without spending too much money, because, you know, you've seen what happens with Japanese cards. If they get a little bit too hyped, they get overpriced to the moon, and no one can get anything for quite some time until the hype dies down. Like now, this is a lull. This is a great time to be opening boxes like these, especially if you missed out and couldn't get any boxes for yourself during that time when it did actually release back in 2022 towards the holidays. Again, like I said, if you want your own booster box of Paradigm Trigger, whether in Japanese or Korean, be sure to check out my webstore, KristaCollects.com. You guys have been showing so much support. I really appreciate it. You know, hit 12K recently, 1 million views as well. The amount of support you guys have been showing is remarkable. I'm trying to give back as much as I can by providing more products on my web store. You know, you're not only just supporting my collection, but you're also supporting the channel. More videos, more education for you guys. Look at that, a V-Star Lugia. You know what I love to do, guys? When I pull the same card in different languages, I love to compare them. So I have the Korean one right here. You guys can see the texturing difference if you can see it in the lighting. I'll try my best here. Sometimes it's a bit hard to see on camera. Hopefully it is. It looks like it is easy to see. So yeah, mainly the texturing difference. The coloring should be the same. It's not a jumbo versus like slim pack difference like we've seen in simplified Chinese cards. With Korean and Japanese, it's pretty easy to see the differences. So there you have it, guys. Again, same card list. I'd say sometimes with Korean Pokemon cards, though, you might see some numbering differences with the trainer cards, not so much the main Pokemon cards. Again, this is just from experience. But the overall card list should be the same. The same Pokemon, same trainers. It's just the ordering might change a little bit. I don't know why they do that. It's just Pokemon Korea's thing. They just happen to do that sometimes. But yeah, let's keep going. Oh yeah, Lance is in the set. I would like to pull his full art. That'd be really cool. One of my favorite champions. Again, Dragon type trainer that tend to favor. Like Zinnia, Lance, Hassel, and more. But let's get Iris too. She's another champion that likes Dragon type Pokemon. Yes. Also, the cards again will feel very different. I know it's a little bit hard to describe. I'd say there's definitely more friction on the Korean cards, whereas the Japanese card it's more smooth to the touch. We have an Amistar, very bold, very nice V card. I do miss the V card artwork because at least you can see the full artwork. That's the only thing about EX cards I'm not too big a fan of. Like, especially, you know, if you don't remember, I did participate in the illustration contest for Pokemon in 2024 this year. When you draw an EX card, you put so much effort in, you know, creating a dynamic pose. I did for Alligator and Charizard, but then you do a background as well. That's what Pokemon expect. But then when you add the template, half the artwork just disappears. But at least with V cards, it doesn't. I kind of wish they had that at that time. The V card, they would ask artists to draw for a V card because at least the whole artwork can be visible. All right, Aggron. Yes, I guess another counter argument to that would be for an EX card, you don't have to put too much effort in the background because it won't really be visible. But at the same time, it's also it's lovely to see it as a full art. You know, you get to see what the artist was trying to portray, rather than half of it being cut off. And yeah, here's a holographic again, hollow borders versus the yellow borders on the Korean version. So yeah. All right, and this is Kairyu in Japanese, so very different from Dragonite's Korean name, Magnanyon. Again, some Pokemon names change, and some of them stay the same, like Lugia stays the same. Snorlax changes, so let's keep going. Some fun. It's fun. That's also why I like collecting Pokemon cards in different languages. You get to see them in different, you know, light. Sometimes the name reveals a little bit more about them too. Like a little bit of background. My favorite is always going to be though like the Chinese names of Pokemon, very literal. The one I always remember is Electrode, Naughty Lightning Ball. Or, you know, like Sprigatito's Leaf Meow, and then we have Quaxley, Moist Duck. I'll never forget that one. Hilarious. How literal it can be. Sometimes it just doesn't have a filter when you translate it. Alright guys, but let's keep going. Almost halfway done with this box already. I love Paradigm Trigger. It just feels good opening sets like this again. Yes, we don't have as many pulls as we see nowadays in the Scarlet and Violet era. Lovely Pikachu, silver borders. I'd say though, at least with the Korean cards with the yellow borders, whenever you pull an electric type, the borders do match because the yellow just blends in with the electric typing. But if you let the contrast with the silver borders, at least they match everything. Right, you can't really argue with me there. With the yellow borders, it'll contrast very heavily with something like a dark type like that. It just pops so much. Maybe a little bit obnoxious, but at the same time too, we should be used to. Are you kidding me? Wow! What are the chances of that happening? Okay, so I have, thankfully, conveniently over here, we pulled Regidrago again. So let's observe that texturing or memorize this. Maybe for the sake of the video, maybe because I'm comparing it. The universe is like, hey, let's just pull the same secret rare so you can really show the viewers the similarities and differences between Korean and Japanese cards. So here you go. Korean texturing versus Japanese texturing. Very different, much finer and more visible on the Japanese version. Of course, different backs, Korean versus Japanese. There you go, guys. Korean versus Japanese 101. I hope this video really helps you because these booster box definitely wanted to show you guys the difference between Korean versus Japanese. You know, you better hit that like button because this video is definitely very educational at this point. So it's one thing comparing, you know, different cards of different languages, but it's another thing when it's the same exact card in different languages, especially when they have different card stock. When it comes to the other Asian languages like traditional Chinese, Thai, Indonesian, etc., they're gonna have the same card quality as Japanese cards because they're all printed in Japan. Korea is just that outlier where it printed its own country outside Japan, hence why the card quality is very different. But yeah, so there you go. big comparison there. Hopefully that, you know, educates any of you who are still getting to know the differences. But in the Sword and Shield era, it was a lot easier distinguishing. I'd say moving on to the Scarlet and Violet era, obviously they transitioned to the silver borders and the quality did get better as a result of that. However, remember, the SR is still not guaranteed though. That's one thing that probably won't change for a while. Unless Pokemon Korea just changed their mind. Because also too, as time has gone on as well, the popularity of the TCG has definitely increased. Pokemon did open more official stores in Korea. So naturally, I believe when, you know, they have better funding, they're doing much better with the TCG. They're naturally going to improve the quality of the cards. Hopefully one day, I'm not promising this, but if they do guarantee the SR, I think we can all sleep better at night because we don't have to buy booster boxes with the fear of getting a no SR box. It's not a good feeling. Okay, we got a Regidrago V-Star. There you go. Very nice. So contrasting from the Regieleki, sorry, VMAX. I always leave out one of the letters. It is what it is. It's two vowels next to each other. Regieleki. One to the front. Yeah, the Regis always make interesting noises. Thanks to Maximofo for portraying them. My favorite. Alright, Incineroar, literally snoozing. I like it when Pokemon artists like portray a somewhat fierce Pokemon in a more like relaxed or, you know, cozy state. Koraidon's another example. One of the artists who entered the Pokemon illustration contest drew Koraidon in a cute little like pet state too. Like a little dog. You know, not a scary dragon monster. It's just like, again, I just like it when Pokemon artists do that. Originally a scary Pokemon, but portrayed in a softer tone. Alright guys, let's keep going. Again, with sets like this, you're not going to get as many pulls, but it's also fun to explore too. Because still, around this time, you had really great artwork. And it made you appreciate the sets that did have the CHRs, character rares, or the art rares. But this, you know, that's why it makes me laugh when people complain about how bad the Scarlet and Violet is. It really isn't that bad because you have a lot of great artwork, a lot more pulls per booster box. You know, you can praise Sword and Shield era, but end of the day, you're getting a lot less pulls depending on which set you open. Yes, the high cost packs though were fantastic. I definitely loved VMAX Climax and V-Star Universe the most. They introduced, you know, whole new card concepts that really just blew me away. Amazing artwork. I hope they do that again. You know, I'm wondering if they release a set like Shiny Treasure EX in preparation of better high-cost sets this year. Terrestrial Festival sounds interesting. You know, it just sounds like another Terra-heavy sort of set, but I'm wondering how they're going to portray it. If they're going to tease us with more awesome artworks. Okay, we have Worker there. We're almost done, guys, but I hope, hopefully overall, this helps. And you know, again, just to repeat, because a lot of people like to ask this question, whenever a set releases in Japanese, it'll definitely release in Korean. Korea doesn't skip sets like that. And usually the wait time is about a month to like around 2 to 2.5 months. The longest was VMAX Climax from what I remember. Almost like, I think a little bit over 2 months gap between the Japanese and the Korean release of that. So you kind of have to be a little bit patient. It is a waiting game, but when it does come out, it's fun to compare and it is fun to open at a much more affordable price. Again, for valid reasons, no secret rare guaranteed, and also not as good card quality as the Japanese version, but that's just how Pokemon Korea want to market their cards. They want to do it their way, so just let them do their thing. More for us, right? With Skuntank, there's also a cute alt art of Skuntank in this set. Haven't pulled it, but it's alright. At least we didn't get Regieleki this time. This time, the other Reggie wants to stalk me. Oh man, anything but Lugia, right? But at least also too with Japanese booster boxes, there's also the very small chance of pulling 2 secret rares or higher rarity. But the likelihood of that happening is very low, and I'm not going to expect it. But the main thing is that, guys, these 2 boxes treated you right because you could actually compare the Japanese and Korean versions of the same cards on numerous occasions. So if you missed it, definitely check out the previous part of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to support my channel, please be sure to check out KristaCollects.com if you want to get your own booster box of Paradigm Trigger. It is fun to open no matter what language you open it in. Stay safe, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.